Thunder Valley, Tennessee is a destination among the true NASCAR faithful. Nestled in the peaceful landscape is a half-mile of high-speed concrete where sheet metal and tempers get bent. The man who has the momentum just happens to be one of the most successful drivers on this track. Kurt Busch won at Atlanta and is one of the two active drivers with the most wins at Bristol. But the dust still hasn't settled from the last race as the encounter between BK12 and Cousin Carl has dominated NASCAR headlines. Both combatants have been warned, but we're at the world's fastest half mile. It's Bristol, baby.
Got it. Got it fast. Up to make a show up.
This is the world's fastest half mile, Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee, but it's also known as Thunder Valley, and it lived up to its nickname in the 5th race of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series season. Welcome to NASCAR in a Hurry. I'm Bob Dillner. There was plenty of talk going into the Food City 500. No grit with a Goodyear tire here at the half mile. Joey Logano grabbed his first pole ever on Friday, and there was speculation of the revenge factor between Cousin Carl and Bad Brad after a meeting this weekend in the NASCAR hauler. Plus, there were the Bushes. Kyle going for the Bristol hat trick. That's 3 in a row. And brother Kurt looking for his 6th triumph on the half mile.
The cars are going to be a lot tighter today in the pack, and then, of course, the turn 4 wall. The safer barriers moved out in the groove a little bit. So it almost makes it to where the outside groove is the preferred groove because that guy can hold the line.
Survival. I mean, you always have that coming to Bristol. It's since they changed the configuration, there's a lot more racing room, but the 3 feet that they tighten the corners up off, coming out of the corners is going to be, we're going to wish we had the extra 3 feet.
We've just been chasing the racetrack. We unloaded here and we knew the track was going to be loose, but it was we were way too loose anyway. And then we thought the track was going to come to us a lot faster than it did. We missed. And so then we overcompensated for it on Saturday, and then the track was tight. So then we fought tight all day Saturday.
Well, I enjoy the short tracks. I mean, it's a little bit of extra driver activity when you got to push your brake pedal. So the more the driver's involved, I think the more you get to race. From that standpoint, it's more fun. We've had a good setup here. Tony Gibson's got some great setups with the short track program.
Biggity! Oh, baby, let's go racing, boys!
Kurt Busch fires out, and does he lead the first lap? He does from Logano.
But I'm going to tell you what, the best race car in practice is lurking right there behind Kurt Busch. Jimmy Johnson at 48 ran 116 laps in final practice.
Matter of fact, I heard him tell the boys, y'all can go ahead and get the champagne set up.
Oh, boy. Here comes Johnson around the outside. Busch led the 5th lap of this race. And let's see if Johnson can get the 5 bonus points for leading a lap. He does.
And so JJ trying to win his first ever race at Bristol, looking pretty sporty early on. Now Johnson had 49 career cup victories going into this race, but speaking of guys getting win numero uno at Bristol, it's also a track where a handful of drivers have scored their first career cup win. Dale Earnhardt among them.
Bristol Motor Speedway has earned the reputation for being one of the toughest tracks on the NASCAR circuit, a place conquered by future Hall of Famers like Waltrip and Yarborough, but rarely ever dominated. Despite Bristol's daunting reputation as a car cruncher, a select group of men have been able to score their first Cup wins in Thunder Valley. Long before Dale Earnhardt was the intimidator, he was a brash young rookie hoping to make his mark on the sport. That first glimpse of stardom came at Bristol in 1979. Earnhardt outran the legendary likes of Bobby Allison, Darrell Waltrip, and Richard Petty for his first of 76 wins. But now the tables were turned, and the self-assured rookie on Earnhardt's trail was a short track ace out of the state of Missouri.
Off the 4th corner, Rusty Wallace wins the Valleydale 500 and his first Winston Cup race ever.
In August 1990, Irvin faced the prospect of winning his first Cup Series race at Bristol, and the man he would have to beat to do it was none other than Rusty Wallace.
Let's watch this final lap and see if Ernie Irvan can hold off the challenge of defending Winston Cup champion Rusty Wallace, who won his first race here at Bristol. Ernie Irvan, it appears, is going to. Here he is off the fourth corner. Yes, Ernie Irvan wins the Busch 500.
The win was not only the first for Irvan, it was also the first for the Morgan McClure team, based in Abingdon, Virginia, just minutes from Bristol. A young Virginian, driving for the famed Wood Brothers, went head-to-head with the team's legendary rival, Betty Enterprises, and its driver, John Andretti.
The Wood Brothers, who began when NASCAR began in 1949, but haven't won in so long. Here they come to the flag. Sadler wins it. Andretti in second.
Kurt Busch faced off against Mr. Excitement in a battle that would start one of this decade's greatest feuds.
Whoa, he hit him. Busch got under him and muscled Jimmy Spencer. You don't see that often.
There's a lot of things you can and can't do, and one thing you can't do is just beat and bang with people and knock them up out of the way, especially racing for the lead. Because some guys have to learn. They just have to learn the hard way.
In nearly 50 years, only 5 drivers have been able to say that their elusive first wins came on Bristol's high banks. With a field full of hungry young drivers not willing to back down for anyone, could today be another unforgettable moment at NASCAR's Ultimate Coliseum.
Saturday's nationwide race was a doozy for some, but for others, well, they got bit by the gator for the very first time. In the Cup race, guys were racing a variety of things in the first half of the race: tires, each other, and old Mother Nature. We'll have the highlights. Plus, tempers flaring at Bristol. Does that happen? We'll check out some of the most memorable. Stick around.
NASCAR in a Hurry is brought to you by Castrol Edge. Want better wear protection? Think with your dipstick. Upgrade to Castrol Edge.
Got it? All right.
Decision backfires for Brad Keselowski to start on the outside, gives up the lead to Joey Logano. Keselowski dropped back from the pole position at the drop of the green with a very loose race car. It is coming to him, as we've already heard. He's getting stronger, looks to the inside of Carl Edwards, trying to force Edwards up the banking in 3.
Casey Caden right there, but lap traffic holding up his charge. He's still locked together with Kyle Busch. Now squeezes up in front of Kyle Busch, and Casey Caden will be your new leader.
Scott Wimmer dumped Brian Scott going into turn number 1. As Brown's car went up the racetrack, Steve Wallace drove underneath it. That's how those two got together. NASCAR racing can be a game of inches. When we look at the replay as that car spun, Justin Allgaier barely missed that car.
Justin Allgaier, a veteran move, takes his teammate to the top side of the racetrack. He's got the race lead.
Keselowski on the bottom, Allgaier up top, and Justin Allgaier wins his first ever nationwide victory. Meanwhile, Joey Logano involved in a crash after the leaders had already taken the checkered flag.
God was definitely on our side, man. He gave us the run we needed, and it just it feels good. I mean, to know we were both that good and we were able to beat the 18 and the 60 just makes it that much better. Last year when we were here in the fall, we took the lead, and unfortunately Brad and I got together. And water under the bridge, we were both over it, and it was so cool to know that we could race side by side like that this time.
Allgaier proved good guys don't always finish last. Nice to see the Gator grab his first win in the Nationwide Series in his 43rd start. Thanks for joining us today on NASCAR in a Hurry. I'm Bob Dillner. Now, I don't know whether it was the impending weather or not, but the first half of the Bristol Bash was action-packed. Engines and tires were blowing, and there was plenty of great racing all over the place. Let's pick up the action with the 4-time and defending Cup champ in the lead.
Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, a couple of guys back here in rear of the field, they are desperate. Right now, they are having to really press hard. Watch this move that Harvick puts right here.
Well, lapping has begun. Jimmy Johnson pulls alongside Kevin Conway. Johnson may not be the leader for long. Kurt Busch has caught him.
It's just so hard to complete the pass when you get down under this car like Bobby Labonte here. You need the whole racetrack to slide up in front of him right there.
Well, car up in the fence in turn 2.
It's the 66 of Blaney.
Yeah, flat tire.
So Keselowski up front with Stremme in the 26. They did not stop for fuel and tires. This just happened to the 33 going off into the corner.
Well, as my good friend Jake Elder used to say, she blowed up.
And here's Logano back on track. after losing 3 laps with his green flag pit stop.
And here I think he's got a tire down here, I'm pretty sure, and then gets clipped
by Robbie Gordon trying to get the pit road.
Bruneman in trouble on the backstretch, Larry. Excuse me.
I think we're wearing tires out right now. I think that's the problem that's going on possibly.